Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Wacky and Weird Wednesday. We've got some wacky and weird stories about all the weird stuff that's going on in the world because you don't have to panic. Some things are just odd. This is the first and only international game show Before Coffee, a father and daughter podcast where we look up our stories 10 to 15 minutes before we've started. We've just got caffeine in our bodies. We're learning to read live on stream. Let's roll that segue wheel and get into today's headlines. Today on Wacky and Weird Wednesday. French fishing nets find new purpose on Ukraine's front lines. And Diela is pregnant with 83 children. The unique method by which Albania wants to combat corruption with the help of AI.
AI. Good morning / afternoon for the United States. Why did the earthworm cross the road? Magnetics. And why did lightning cross 5 states? Answer, magnetics.
World War I soldier's message in a bottle found on an Australian beach.
Also, why did the Mayans cross over into someplace else? Answer, astronomy.
Why Trump's White House is using video game memes to recruit for ICE. Anyone who was alive during the 2000s already knows the answer. Also in culture news, PETA UK asks Led Zeppelin frontman Robert Plant to change his name to Robert Plant Wool.
I'm sure he'll do that. And why did the hermit cross the road? Well, we actually can't locate him to find out, but it's National Hermit Day, October 29th, 2025 on Before Coffee. Wrong day. I had the wrong deal.
The hermit, huh? I used to be a hermit myself.
You lived in a
maybe
cave?
I still am a hermit, considering to some people. I love being inside.
Oh, yeah, you were a soft hermit.
I love being inside. Let's roll our first segue wheel, which I don't have open. Whoops.
It spins the wheel. Oh, what do we got here? We've got music history I gotta look up too. Don't forget it, Rocktober. We're almost running out of Rocktober. We got 2 more rocks in a row.
Because time keeps moving on without us, that's why.
Time keeps on slipping into the future. I'll just sing that part.
Who's that by? The Eagles? No.
Steve Miller Band.
Oh, right.
He was going all right for me until he made that song Abracadabra, which sounds, man, I hate that song. People play that thing and think it's a good song. I'm like, this is the worst lyrics in the history of the world.
There we go. Let's roll our wheel.
You look up the lyrics and go, wow, that was a hit. That might even been his biggest hit. And it's awful.
Okay, give me a hypothetical for my first 2 stories.
Yeah.
First one is about French fishing nets having a new life in Ukraine. Wacky usage of fishing nets. This is by the Kyiv Post, also coming from AFP, Agence France Presse. Once used to scoop fish from the sea off the coast of France, recycled fishing nets are finding a new life in Ukraine to protect the country's roads and military infrastructure from Russian drone attacks. Yeah, just think about how those rudders on the drones are getting full and tangled up in fishing net. It smells like rotten fish, joked Christian Abozao, 70, as he picked up a piece of used netting at Roscoff Port in western Brittany's Finstère department. He and his fellow volunteer, Gerard Ledoux, 63, Members of the Curiosities Association were waiting a delivery of used nets stuffed into giant white bags to be recycled. They loaded the packed piles of thin green netting into a truck to be sent on its way to Ukraine, where they're used to entangle Russian drones. In early October, the two men had already transported 120 kilometers or 75 miles of nets to Ukraine, and a second truck carrying 160 kilometers of nets left Friday from nearby triplets. Friday, of course, was the 24th of October. What is that in football fields?
I don't say it again.
Joke. 75 miles in football fields.
Jesus, okay, 75 miles. I had it for you.
100 football field. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just making a joke about how Americans will use anything to measure.
Way more football field. You might want to measure that in aircraft carriers.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. When we started humanitarian convoys this year ago, drones weren't part of the picture at all, said Gerard, the association president, but the war has evolved, and now it's a drone war. Russia's drones arsenal used against Ukraine included small flying devices identical to those sold commercially, but equipped with explosives and capable of striking more than 25 kilometers from the front lines. To defend against them, Ukrainians have been covering their roads with nets mounted on poles, stretching for hundreds of kilometers. As drones approach, they get trapped like insects in a spider's webs. When Abu Zao learned of this new tactic, he quickly got in touch with a retired fisherman. Within 48 hours, I had all the fishing nets I needed, he said. It's from the heart, said Jean-Jacques Tanguy, 75, former president of the Finisterre Fisheries Committee. According to him, fishermen are proud to know that their used equipment is going to help save lives. Fishing nets, replaced annually, pile up along the docks of Breton ports. The ones we collect are destined for recycling. They might as well serve a good cause, said Marc-Olivier Leroux, deputy director of the Roscoff port, which gathers around 20 to 25 tons of nets per year. You're always welcome. Come back any time, he told out Gerard and Christian in a farewell. Stored alongside several tons of soup, infant formula, and medical supplies, the nets are transferred to a Ukrainian truck at the Polish border, more than 2,000 kilometers from Brittany. The first convoy headed to Zaporizhia in the south, where the nets are meant to protect the certain neighborhoods of the city. The second is expected to be a bit farther south towards Kherson, a city also facing daily threat of drones. A Frenchman living in Ukraine who wished to remain anonymous facilitated the exchanges between Kyiv and the volunteers in Brittany. There's a huge need for nets here, he told AFP. The idea that the Breton volunteers would think to send kilometers of fishing net to save their lives in Ukraine. When you tell that to any Ukrainian, they are moved to tears. Looking around, Abba Xiao hopes Ukrainians will send transporters to collect the nets in Brittany. We'll help gather and load them, but we don't have the budget to continue the convoys ourselves. Chronicles isn't the only group sending nets to Ukraine to the front. Stefan Fofik, owner of the fleet of trawlers in Finster's Loktudi, sent some in August via Hauts Alps-based association. Arasvik Paka. It's a symbolic gesture to show our support, Fofik said to AFP. And the fishermen's solidarity movement isn't limited to France. Ukrainian positions are also being protected by nets from Europe, notably Sweden and Denmark. So, if you have some fishing nets left over, maybe find somebody in Ukraine, let them know, hey, I've got some fishing nets to give you, and send them on over.
Yeah, that reminds me of a couple of things. And you wanted a hypothetical, though.
Yes.
Well, saying that you measured things at football fields. I was reminded, because you're talking about fishing nets, I was reminded of this giant field of floating plastic that's in the ocean.
Yeah, the famous one.
I looked it up. It's 1.6 million square kilometers, or 620,000 square miles, roughly the size of 2 Texases or 3 Frances. Okay, so
get that stuff in the sky. Throw it at the drones.
Throw that on your list of how to measure things. That's the size of 2 Texases. Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. 2 of them.
3
Okay.
Texas,
Well,
3 Frances, and 2 Texases. That's pretty big.
having driven across Texas, that's a long-ass drive. But anyway, the point being, hypothetically, what would be the capital city of this giant island anyway? And can Trump try to own it, right? Maybe try to invade it or something? Anyway, there's the next story.
All right. Also, good morning, Dorina. Dorina Pina. I hope you're doing good and had a good Tuesday. Had a good night.
Trump
had a good morning.
Good morning. And we need to tell Trump that it's a country that's slowly creeping towards America, and it's called plastic land. No, something we call
Plasticia.
Plasticia. Polymeria. I don't know.
Polymeria, that's a good one. Okay, my next story is about AI, because you can't have a wacky and weird Wednesday if you don't have a weird AI thing happening. This is on Digi24, Romania. Albania has a AI prime minister. Oh, sorry, not prime minister. An AI public servant, and she's pregnant. How does that work? Delia, meaning son, was appointed in September to make Albania's public procurement systems completely transparent and free from corruption. Prime Minister Rama has now announced that she's pregnant with 83 children all at once. Albania's artificial intelligence-generated minister Delia is pregnant, Prime Minister Edi Rama announced. He revealed plans to create 83 children or assistants, one for each Socialist Party member of parliament. Today we took quite a risk with Delia here, and we did very well. So for the first time, Delia is pregnant with 83 children, he told Global Dialogue BGD in Berlin. Rama said the children or assistants would record everything that happens in parliament and keep lawmakers informed of discussions or events they miss, Albania media reported. Each of them will serve as an assistant to those who will attend the parliamentary sessions, keep track of all events, and make suggestions to members of parliament. These children will have their mother's knowledge, Rama said. Sounds like a threat. I don't know why I read it like it was a threat. He expects the system to be fully operational by the end of 26. Rama explained how the AI assistants will work. For example, if you go for a coffee and forget to come back to work, this child will tell you what was discussed during your absence and tell you who you should respond to. You invite me next time, you'll have 83 more screens for children of Delia. Delia, meaning son, was appointed in September to make Albania's public procurement system completely transparent and free from corruption. Initially launched as a virtual assistant in January on the e-Albania platform, she helped citizens and businesses obtain state documents. The AI-generated minister is depicted as a woman in traditional Albanian costume. Delia has been given the responsibility of making all decisions related to public tenders, making them 100% free of corruption. Every public fund subject to the tender procedure will be perfectly transparent, Rama has said. Albania is the first country in the world to officially appoint a non-human minister. Unlike a minister for artificial intelligence, Delia is an AI entity herself, composed entirely of codes and pixels. And awkwardly enough, and not to be a gender person here again, but it's a woman. Why do these AI things have to be women? Think about that. Okay, you don't have to draw any crazy lines, but just think about that. All of these AI women are women. They're all portrayed as women. Why can't we just elect a woman to be in that position instead of an AI?
Get your
I'm making a point here, but you're gonna have to draw the point yourself. Anyway, that's my shorter story on a pregnant AI woman. Not only have they made her a woman, they made her pregnant, and also I hope it works. You know what? I would love for there to be less corruption in government. Mm-hmm. I hope that works.
Mm-hmm. So she's having 83?
83.
83, huh?
Yeah.
I gotta do my get the laugh track ready and the groan. Get them ready.
Okay.
I'll do the old man voice. And I remember when AI was inconceivable. There you go, man. All right, and I have a bad pun. Bonus bad pun. AI's having 83 babies. Well, there's always a womb for more.
Oh, no.
terrible. I know. I have actually more bad puns, but I will stop there.
Do you have a hypothetical though, or are you just doing your own segue?
That was my hypothetical. In the old days, I remember when AI was inconceivable. Well, except I do the old
Okay, I see. I just thought with humans, they can be multiple things.
That actually never existed. My entire life, I've watched science fiction where AI was doing shit for Star Trek, you know?
Anyway, I mean, the Jetsons had a robot. That was probably based off AI. Maybe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did. Yeah, so the Jetsons, I don't know if they were before Star Trek or after. But I watched Star Trek reruns because the original run, I was too.
The Next Generation had what's his name? I just forgot his name.
Not that. Yeah.
Data.
Jordy. Oh yeah. Data.
Data was.
They never stopped.
Wasn't AI too? It was artificial intelligence.
Yeah, artificial intelligence got into deep space. It wasn't. They're going to stop using it. Shit don't work.
Let's roll the next segue, Will. Or your story. Your story about magnets.
What do I get? What did I spin? Sorry, I was yappering.
You didn't spin anything. I spinned it. Mixed metaphor. Your story.
Mixed metaphor. Got it. Just writing it down, man, because I forget to write yours down sometimes. All right, then. We're going to do 2 stories. Get my glasses because I don't need them. We're going to talk about earthworms, and we're going to try to shorten this up. This story is kind of an interview more than it is an article. It's from NPR.org, and it's from Nathan Roth. Earthworms may offer clues into magnetic navigation. Yes, that's true. That's what it says. Scientists have known for decades that many animals use Earth's magnetic field for navigation. It's less clear how they do it. A new study suggests earthworms may be a good way to figure out. Yeah, because the earthworms don't have eyes or anything. You basically got to figure out how they're navigating. Scientists have known for decades that some animals use Earth's magnetic field as for navigation. Think of it as an internal GPS, but how it all works remains unclear. NPR's Nate Roth reports a new study which suggests earthworms may help provide an answer. I will go ahead and opine that humans also have this innate ability to find their way home. However, we've suppressed it by technology. And again, we are separating ourselves from animals by being less clever than they are. It's not going to work, man. Eventually, technology is going to ruin us. But here we go. We're going to talk about his interview with behavior ecologist. Man, that's an easy word. I know I'm having trouble with it. Yanni Vortman, research into magnetoreception, which we'll talk about in his interview. So, the first question he asked him why he got into earthworms, his answer was, I got into earthworms because I was kind of frustrated with birds, actually. Birds were doing you dirty or what? Birds were like, like border collie. You try to do an experiment with them and they jump towards the light and a lot of things really interfere with them. I don't know, if you have a dog, I do have a dog, then you know that you can try to train him to do something, but when he hears the noise, he's going the other direction, and birds are like flying dogs. Earthworms are less distractible. They don't have eyes or ears. And when you try to determine how a species chooses where to go and what sense they're using to make that decision, it's easier when there are fewer inputs. So with worms, the intuition of most biologists is that worms move randomly. They don't really navigate. But Vortman, who works at the Tel Hay Academic College in Northern Israel, says when you consider that to move, earthworms have to literally eat dirt, expending a lot of energy. Then, of course, they don't move randomly. And then they need to navigate somehow, and the magnetic sense is the perfect thing if you navigate underground. The magnetic sense, magnoreception, if we want to be fancy, is the animal's ability to detect Earth's magnetic field. Scientists have found that all sorts of animals, not humans, but sea turtles, sharks, salamanders, and birds, just to name a few, have this internal compass, this sixth sense. Again, humans probably have it, but we don't need it, so we don't use it. And if you have a skill that you don't use, a perception you don't use, it doesn't does not register as a perception. That's blind people have a stronger sense of touch, for instance, than your normal person. Why? Because they have to be sharper. But somehow, amazingly, it's the only sense that we don't know where is the sensor, says Vortman. In other words, we're back to Roth talking. In other words, we know the eyes are for seeing, ears for hearing. So what are they using to detect magnetic fields? Scientists have many theories. Maybe it is biochemical reactions detecting magnetism. Maybe it's electroreceptors. It's all very heady. Vortman's current hypothesis for worms is a symbiotic magnetic bacteria, which he says is for another paper and for another discussion. Wow, that's an interesting theory. But he says the paper he just published in the journal Biology Letters showing that worms have this magnetic sense too could help scientists answer the broader questions. Many things that we cannot do with birds and sea turtles, we can do with earthworms. For example, if you want to sample 40 sea turtles to understand how they are navigating, it's difficult and expensive. If you want to sample 40 earthworms, I don't know, you can go to the next fishing store, right? That's right. They are ubiquitous, cheap, and as we know, a heck of a lot easier to work with than birds. Nate Roth, NPR News. There's your story from Nate Roth.
It ain't rough.
NPR News. Yeah, right on, man. I read an interview, but he was interspersing narration with the old flair of
course,
NPR.
As somebody who's dug up worms as a kid, and any person who's been outside after it rains, the planet can lead a worm to water, but can't make it swim.
Oh, wow. There we go with the bed.
There's your mixed metaphor there.
Delayed. There you go. Man, I'm slow. I got another story.
Okay, give us our next story.
Says it's going to be shorter. Enormous lightning metaflash happened the other day, but we're updating it now. It's not going on currently. No. Earth.com has a story from Adrian Villas. A single megaflash stretched across an astonishing 550 miles across the central United States. According to new analysis, experts have certified it as the longest lightning flash ever reliably measured, and the event now sits atop the global record books. I'm number one. I think he's just a flash in a pan. Anyway,
I'm number one.
Scientists use this term megaflash, a single lightning flash longer than 62 miles for events of this scale. The record setter fits the definition and then some. It unfolded within a mesoscale convective system, a large organized thunderstorm complex that can cover several states. Probably produced about 70,000 tornadoes too, but most of them didn't touch down, right? These systems build broad decks of electrified clouds where charge can spread sideways for huge distances. Oh yeah, a big old battery, think of it that way. Land researcher Marvel, big capacitor, if you know what a capacitor is. Lead researcher Michael J. Patterson of the Georgia Tech Research Institute, or GTR, Severe Storms Research Center, SSRC, led the evaluation of the event. He and colleagues documented how a single continuous flash connected distant cloud regions across the plains. The committee measured the horizontal extent using consistent geodesic methods and energy-weighted centroids from satellite detectors. Yippee-yi-yay. Or is it kippy-yi-yay? Oh, well, I'm not a cowboy. Well, actually, technically, I was a cowboy. But anyway, back to the story. That approach avoids overcounting overlapping flashes and keeps the measurement standards comparable over time. Lightning megaflashes are different. Most megaflashes fan out through the trailing stratiform region, the broad rain shield that sits behind the storm's active line region. Once there, the discharge, another name for discharge, can keep stepping along for hundreds of miles. These environments host a deep charge reservoir, a large ozone of separated electrical charge within the cloud. Horizontal layers of charge make it easier for the channel to keep going. So basically, you're having a series of discharges, negatives and positive, building up, and bam, all of a sudden this one lightning strikes, connects them all, and it all happens simultaneously like lightning. The record flash also produced multiple cloud-to-ground strokes along this route. Each stroke tapped the same parent channel rather than starting from scratch. Activity can look deceptively calm when mega flashes happen. They often strike when the noisy core of the storm has moved on and the rain shield lingers. How satellites saw the bolt. This is interesting. The Geostationary Lightning Mapper, or GLM, a satellite instrument that detects brief light pulses from orbit, recorded the flash. Its view covers the entire hemisphere continuously, which is crucial for catching rare giants. Science later processed the data sheet with improved clustering methods, and that better grouped the individual light pulses into single flashes. That pass revealed a single continuous discharge, not several look-alike flashes packed together. The record is a case where better algorithms change the scoreboard. It shows how detection technology shapes what we can count and compare. Ground networks remain essential for tracking lightning, but they often miss the largest flash that leap across gaps between sensors and radar coverage. By contrast, the satellite constant wide-angle views fill those blind spots, revealing a full sweep of mega flashes across the Great Plains. It's not even naming the states that are crossed. That's kind of a upsetting thing, but it's going on for a while. I'm looking for the states information. Lightning's dangerous, they go on to say, which, in case you didn't know that.
Yeah, in case you were unaware.
Why these... Yeah, right. It's like, oh, no. If you see lightning, hear this and do that. Build yourself a Faraday cage. It's a bird cage, basically. Just don't touch the walls. Extreme flashes also influence atmospheric chemistry by reducing nitrogen oxides, gases that affect ozone and climate balance. Although each event contributes only a trace amount, their size and power make them valuable for modeling storm impacts on climate situations. Anyway, that's your really quick story about the mega flash. I was looking for the 5 states, but just look at the Great Plains of the United States. You could probably figure out which 5 states. Probably they just can't narrow it down to which 5 states, I guess. I don't know. That's my guess. Colorado. I would say Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, something like that. That'd be my guess. In that area.
Those guys. The ones famous for that, basically.
Famous for, where does this flatness end? That's Kansas. Oh, look, there's a grain elevator. That's Kansas. Oh, in Kansas, you just drive between grain elevators and there's a gas station. Anyway, there's my story. Where's your fun little pun? Or your fun little, or maybe not so fun. Mixed metaphor.
Sounds like they let the lightning out of the clouds and it's running wild.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
We used to get mixed metaphors all the time, and now we barely get them. We just get
that crowd can be a little slow.
Hypothetical over and over again. Okay, so we've learned about how our planet has its own plans, and we're just along for the ride. Let's roll our segue wheel for my next story.
That's right.
Which is a long one.
A long what?
Yeah, okay. It says it's 6 minutes, but I'll see about that.
That doesn't sound long. Go ahead.
It's a bad pun. You've already been giving me those, so now you have to actually do it. Now you're gonna not have anything to joke about.
Yeah, I'll draw a blank.
This is by Rod McGurk on AP News, coming out of Melbourne. Message in a bottle written by 2 Australian soldiers a few days into their voyage to the battlefield of France during World War I had been found more than a century later on an Australian coast. That's crazy. I wonder where they sent them off from. The Brown family found the Schweppes brand bottle just above the waterline at Wharton Beach near Esperance in Western Australia State on October 9th, Deb Brown said on Tuesday, which was the 28th of October. Her husband, Peter, and daughter Felicity made the find during one of the family's regular quad bike expeditions to clear the beach of trash. I can't do an Australian accent, so I'm just going to do a British one. We do a lot of cleaning up on our beach, and so we'd never go past a piece of rubbish. So this little bottle lying there waiting to be picked up, Deb Brown said. Inside the clear, thick glass were cheerful letters written in pencil by Privates Malcolm Neville, 27, and William Harley, 37, dated August 15th, 1916, almost 100 years ago. Their troop ship, HMAT.
That's way over 100 years ago.
Huh?
It's 109 years. It's 109 years ago, not almost. Yeah. Anyway.
100 years ago would be
1925.
2020. Oh, you're right. Sorry, you're correct. It's 2020. It's almost 2026. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I guess.
Math is. I've deleted math out of my brain.
I guess.
It's weird news. That's
year
what
it is.
Yeah. Anyways, their troop ship HMAT A70 Ballarat had left the South Australian state capital, Adelaide, to the east on August 12th. Of that year on the long journey to the other side of the world, where its soldiers would reinforce the 48th Australian Infantry Battalion on Europe's Western Front. So they probably sent the message in a bottle off the coast of Australia. I don't think they got very far in 3 days. They didn't send it from France, is what I'm saying.
Nah, it just fell off the ship.
Killed. One of the people, Malcolm Neville, was killed in action a year later. He was wounded twice, but survived the war. Dying in Adelaide in 1934 of cancer, his family say was caused by him being gassed by the Germans in the trenches. That is something somebody would say if you had a veteran of World War I. It was the damn Germans gassing me in the trenches. That's what caused my cancer. I'm not saying he didn't, but that's just something, that's something somebody would say. Yeah, it was the Germans. They gave him cancer. Neville requested the bottle finder deliver his letter to his mother, Robertina. I don't think she's alive still, Neville. Who do they deliver it to if Neville died in action? His sister, maybe, or his brother? Does he have any family?
His great-grandniece.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah, no, I think those are all the others. If his fellow soldier died, to be fair, he died of cancer, but still, I don't think it's possible his mom's still alive. She was born in the 1800s. There's no way anyone from the 1800s is alive right now.
No,
that's crazy.
No.
Yeah. Okay,
it's been
Neville
a while.
Requested the bottle's finder deliver his letter to his mother, Robertina. Neville at Wilkewat, now a virtual ghost town in South Australia. Oh, isn't that even more of a passage of time? Yeah, I used to live in this now empty town that nobody lives in. Oh, that's spooky. Harley, whose mother was dead by 1916, was happy for the finder to keep his note. Harley wrote, "May the finder be as well as we are at present." Neville wrote to his mother he was having a real good time. Food is real good so far, with the exception of one mill which was buried at sea. The ship was heaving and rolling, but we are as happy as Larry, Neville wrote, using a now faded Australian colloquialism, meaning very happy. We get it, it's an old letter. They're gonna have old colloquialisms in them. Neville wrote that he and his comrades were somewhere at sea. Holly wrote that they were somewhere in the Bight, referring to the Great Australian Bight. That's an enormous open bay that begins east of Adelaide and extends to Esperance on the western edge. Deb Brown suspects the bottle didn't travel far. It likely spent more than a century ashore, buried in the sand dunes. Extensive erosion of the dunes, caused by huge swells along Wharton Beach in recent months, probably dislodged it. The paper was wet, but the writing remained legible. Because of that, Deb Brown was able to notify both soldiers' relatives of the find. The bottle is in pristine condition. It doesn't have any growth or any barnacles on it. I believe that if we had been at sea or if it had been exposed for that long, the paper would have been disintegrated by the sun. We wouldn't have been able to read it, she said. Harley's granddaughter, Ann Turner, said her family was absolutely stunned by the find. We just can't believe it. It really does feel like a miracle. And we do very much feel like grandfather had reached out to us from the grave, Turner told Australian Broadcasting Corps. Neville's great-nephew, Herbie Neville, said his family had been brought together by the unbelievable discovery. It sounds as though he was pretty happy to go to war. Just so sad what happened. So sad that he lost his life, Herbie Neville said. Wow, what a man he was, the great-nephew added with pride. So a reminder that they were... Neville was only 27, so he was the younger of the two, and he died in the war. And William Harley died later of cancer in 1964. 1934. So only 20-ish years later he died. at around 50. So there's your, I know it's a bit sad news, but it's wacky news. They found a bottle which has been in the beach, sitting in the beach for so many years, and they found it. It's very cool. So don't ever think your lives, as minuscule as you might think they are, will not be discovered by somebody and celebrated maybe by your ancestors. Very cool.
Yeah, there's some people that knew your granddad or something.
Yeah, well, yes.
Or something like that.
Yeah, very cool.
So you said this was in the, it was a place called the Bite. It was called the Bite.
The Australian Light.
The Australian Bite.
Oh no, you're right. Bite, no L. Bite, yeah. But bite spelled like blight without the L. That's why.
Yeah, as in gigabyte.
BIGHT. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, that's different. Okay. Anyway, it works for my pun anyway because it's a good thing. It's a good thing this note didn't go through a terabyte. Note, tear, I never.
No, I got it. I got it. I'm just laughing. I'm actually, I'm so shocked I couldn't even speak.
Pulled that one out the last.
That's how I felt. I was like, oh my god, that's so terabyte. Wow. But there's my long story about the Australian message in a bottle.
Is there a second story? Wait a minute. Oh, I got it.
For your story, it's rolling the wheel time, rolling the wheel time. It's time for me to write a haiku.
Haiku. All right.
That's the jingle. I'm going to sing that jingle every time.
I got one story. So, let's do it. We're talking about, what was I talking about? I was talking about something.
Where am I? Who am
Mayans. Yeah. Speaking of Mayans, is it Mayan or is it urine? No, it's zmescience.com has a story from TBPO. I don't want to reflect everything on my glasses. The only reason I take them off so I can read this stuff. It's big enough. In the heart of the Yucatan, more than 1,000 years ago, a group of Maya astronomers known as daykeepers tracked the movements of the moon with such precision that they could foresee solar eclipses centuries in advance. Now researchers John Jutson and Justin Lowry have finally decoded their methods for building eclipse tables in a new study. The earliest version of the eclipse tables seems to have been a repurposed version of a less complex table, the authors write, which listed 450 successive lunar months, each lasting either 29 or 30 days. From that humble start, the Maya built a framework capable of predicting every solar eclipse visible in their territory between 350 and 1150 CE. In modern times, we used to call that BC. In modern times, the 8-page eclipse table of the, wait, is that BC? Yeah, I think so. I don't even CE means. I don't like the way they change terminology in the middle of my life.
Yes, most people don't like
not
change.
fair.
You're correct.
I guess it had to be C is what we used to call AD, I think maybe. And anyway,
yes, BC
to modernize
is before, AD is after.
No, it says CE.
AD. You're correct.
Okay, so thanks for changing terminology, scientists. You didn't warn me. Okay. The 8-page eclipse table of the Dresden Codex looks like a dense grid on hieroglyphs and numbers. The Mayanists, however, these tables hide a rhythm of cosmic regularity. The table covers 405 lunar months, or just over 32 years, and contains 69 new moons, of which 55 mark possible solar eclipses. Each entry or station represents a new moon when a solar eclipse could occur. Most are spaced 6 lunar moons apart, roughly 177 days, because that's how long it takes for the moon to return to the same alignment relative to the Earth and the Sun. Earlier scholars assumed that each new table began the previous one when the previous one ended, but this Judson and Lowry show would quickly throw off predictions. The Maya, they argue, used 2 precise reset points, 223 and 358 lunar months. These correspond to the known Saros and Anex cycles of eclipses. Yes, sir, they knew what they were doing. The Saros is eclipse cycle of approximately 18 years and 11 days and 8 hours, after which sun, earth, moon return to nearly the same relative geometry. The inex cycle is slightly shorter period of about 10,571 days or 29 years that also align eclipse patterns. As author notes, restarting an eclipse table at these intervals and at those ratios would have enabled day keepers to reset the table relatively for a few millennia. The researchers' reconstruction shows that by mixing 4 resets of 358 months, the inex cycle, and one for 223, the Maya could have maintained accuracy across generations, a mathematical calibration as elegant as anything found in Babylon or Greece.
That's right.
Civilization
Math has always been the
sky.
truest fact of human existence.
Yeah, they didn't have Saturday Night Live or television or any of that stuff. They may have had some sports and shit, but the smart people were looking at the sky. Maya astronomy was part science, part divination. The day keepers worked with the intertwined calendars, a 260-day ritual calendar used for astrology and prophecy, and a 365-day civil calendar that tracked the solar year. Around 500 BCE, that is, I guess, the new terminology for BC, they began linking the lunar cycle 260-day divinity count. By a classic period between 350 and 900 CE, the Maya had compiled enough eclipse observations to discern long-term patterns. The Dresden Codex, copied around the 12th century from older sources, preserves that culmination of the language. In their analysis, Jules Justison and Lowry cataloged 145 solar eclipses visible across the Maya world over 8 centuries. They found that eclipses separated by 669 lunar months, roughly 54 years, tended to recur near the same longitude and time of day. The Maya could therefore recognize these cycles and fold them into their predictions. After 3 spans of 405 months with 190 eclipse intervals among 20 eclipses, a fairly uniform pattern will emerge. The researchers write, in other words, watch the sky for a few generations and the universe starts to talk back in numbers. For the Maya, eclipses were very important, seen as cosmic warnings. Darkness devouring the sun might signal divine anger or renewal. Again, we're supposing we know what they were thinking. Yet, beneath the myth, their predictions rested on the day.
Like we were talking about before, but there might actually be Mayans alive that they can actually ask. So.
Oh, there's probably all kinds of things they can read and decipher, right? Yet, between the myth, the predictions rested on data carefully recorded over centuries. When the researchers reconstructed the table's historical range, they found it likely corresponded to the years 1083 and 1116. Remarkably, that same method for eclipse table could still predict modern eclipses over Mexico, as long as someone made new tables using the same reset procedures. Well, go make the table. Without these periodic resets, the table would gradually drift out of alignment due to the slight mismatch between the lunar months and the eclipse cycle. The table would have anticipated every solar eclipse observable in the Mayan territory from a century or two after the first evidence of Mayan lunar calendar to at least the era of extant eclipse table 700 years later. A couple more paragraphs. 7 centuries of reliable predictions built without telescopes, without calculus, without even a concept of gravity. We don't know if they had a concept of gravity. I'm just saying. Again, you're placing your ignorance on them. It's kind of, they couldn't have possibly had anything else.
I feel like even a child can tell that there's something pulling things to the earth, right? Like you drop it, it falls down. Like, you know? The reason who came up with this? Who gets credit for gravity? What's his name?
Sir Isaac Newton.
Yeah. I think he just came up with let me calculate it. Let me make a fucking mathematician's, let me find out what gravity equals, right? But I think everyone could agree that gravity existed before. I think they had a concept of gravity.
Archimedes and Galileo and all them. Anyway, now, one more paragraph, anyway. We now live in an age where you can calculate eclipses thousands of years in the future with computer precision, but it's humbling to recognize that 1,000 years ago, Maya astronomers are doing much of the same thing in their own, armed only with their eyes, their calendars, and an unshakable conviction that the universe spoke in numbers. There you go. And of course, ancient aliens are helping them. We can't leave that out. Sorry, that's a joke. That's my little joke. Have an haiku. I'm haikuless.
Okay, here's your haiku. Ancient stars align. Mayan scribes in shadowed halls. Math whispers time's breath. This keeps going. Math's always going in the background.
All right. That's my story.
That's it? Oh, okay. Then let's get into my culture news with our segue wheel. Roll the segue wheel. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Segue wheel. I'm just going to keep on coming up with a jingle until I like one. I believe that's sarcasm. It was on the cusp of tell a joke, but you can tell a sarcastic joke if you want. This is my culture news. I've got two stories here. The first one is
sarcasm.
Probably one everyone's been seeing, especially if you're a gamer, because boy has this not been surprising at all. Trump is using video game memes to recruit for ICE. This is on The Guardian by Alyssa Mercante. Just days after Microsoft announced Halo Campaign Evolved, the next game in its famous science fiction series, the White House shared an interesting picture on Twitter. The image, which appears to be an AI-generated convicted felon, Trump, wearing the armor of Halo's iconic protagonist, Master Chief, standing in salute in front of an American flag that's missing several stars, by the way. So there's a lot of information through this AI art. In his left hand is an energy sword, a weapon used by the alien enemies in Halo games, posted in response to a tweet from U.S. game retailer GameStop. The text accompanying the image reads, "Power to the players," in reference to the store's slogan. So he's trying to get all the gamers to join ICE and start thugging around the streets. GameStop and the White House exchanged another Halo meme or two. And then on 27th October, the official Department of Homeland Security Twitter account joined in, using Halo imagery of a futuristic soldier in an alien world to encourage people to join its increasingly militaristic Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency. Stop the flood, this one reads, equating the U.S. immigration population to parasitic aliens that Master Chief eliminates. Mind you, the flood aren't the bad guys. The flood, I know I'm going into video game lore here. The flood is a offshoot of the aliens. So it's like, you know, if the KKK had its own army and was invading your country, that's what it's like, okay? Or even better, if you're putting your National Guard in another state's National Guard in a different state. It's like that. That's what the flood is, okay? It is not immigrants. The flood are, and to be fair, I think the humans are immigrants in this, in the Halo universe. Not the aliens. The aliens are like, who the fuck are these guys doing? Anyways, metaphor lost. Who cares about analogies? Let's just say whatever we want and rechange what anything means to fit our narrative. Yet another war ended under President Trump's watch. Only one leader is fully committed to giving power to the players, and that's leader Donald J. Trump, said White House Deputy Press Secretary Kush Desai over email. When asked for the official line on this post, that is why he's hugely popular with the American people and American gamers, as I'm pretty sure his, what is that thing called where people ask how you feel about a leader of a country? Numbers are down. It's like 30%, dude. Maybe lower, 27 or something. And it's not going up just because he's sharing Halo memes. Well, that's the problem. He's sharing Halo memes instead of actually being a decent person. The spate of sharing video game imageries may seem odd, but Trump and his various allies have been leaning into gamer culture for nearly a decade. Yes, that's exactly what Gamergate was. Gamergate was the ability to radicalize a bunch of gamers against women so that they could take away women's rights later. Hey, they don't deserve it because I've hated women for 10 years because of Gamergate. I'm very, very, very explaining that very simply, okay? We don't have to get into the deep trenches of what Gamergape is. Gamergape? Gamergape.
Gamergape. That sounds like a new porn.
That's a different movement.
That's a different porn movement.
TwitchCon. Anyways.
That's right. There you go. Oh, that's straight up.
Courted gamers, a demographic that includes a significant subsection of disaffected young men. Reminder that most gamers are now 50-50, women and men, so it's not owned by a single gender. Since his first presidential campaign, media executive Steve Bannon was the person who used Gamergaters to basically get people in twice to the far right, anti, all the things that I consider bad things in human society. Steve Bannon helped ferry those people over to that. He joined the campaign of chief strategist
he was in prison for stealing money.
In August 2016, bringing with him a wealth of knowledge of video game culture and online behavior of its biggest fans. Bannon had previously worked with the secured funding for Internet Gaming Entertainment, a Hong Kong company that paid Chinese workers low wages to farm gold in multiple player games of Warcraft. According to Joshua Green's book on Bannon, Devil's Bargain, Stephen Bannon, Donald Trump, and the Storming of the Presidency, it was during this time that Bannon learned that these rootless white males had monster power. Yes, any demographic can be used this way. That's why populism is so popular. In 2014, Bannon watched as Gamergate, an amorphous online army massing the darker corners of the web, routinely targeted women and other people marginalized in the video game industry for all their problems. Video games are bad because of women and colored people, not because video game industry is just looking for the next avenue of money, so they've sold all of their principles for the cash. That's the real reason video games are bad. Hey, I can make money off of that. Fuck my player base. Money! He saw how the movement's behavior led to real-world acts such as organized harassment and doxing, the sharing of private information with the public. Once Bannon joined the campaign, he leveraged his understanding of gamer culture to push the presidential campaign to previously untouched places. That army was ready to engage in memetic warfare at any given moment, and it did. Of course, famously, the memes against Hillary Clinton, sharing fabricated allegations of health problems with the hashtag HillaryHealth, irregularly produced memes supporting Trump based on internet in-jokes and nerdy pop culture references. Arguably, Trump defeated Clinton in the 2016 presidential campaign with the help of this army. A lot of people thought Trump was a meme. And because he was a meme, he wasn't taken seriously, and that's how he was able to get elected. There's people who voted for him because they thought it was funny. They thought it was funny. This guy's not going to win, but I'm going to vote for him so I can say, I voted for Trump in 2016 because I knew he was a loser. He did not lose. He did not lose.
You act like they stopped being this stupid. You act like they stopped being this. They're still this stupid. They didn't stop being stupid. Yeah. They're still there.
Anyways, when convicted felon Trump failed to beat Joe Biden in 2020, he turned to his own social media platform, Truth Social, to regularly lambast Biden and the Democrats throughout Biden's 4-year term. He continued his memes as well as Musk. Good old Elon Musk, the meme lord. Because he is himself a meme. The South African entrepreneur bought Twitter in October 2022 and quickly reinstated the account of Trump and a host of others that had been banned for being memes themselves. Musk, who regularly invokes gamer culture and posts memes on his own Twitter account, has spent a few weeks earlier this year embroiled in a ridiculous fight over whether he was faking his gamer credentials. He loosened the restrictions on hate speech on the platform and boosted the exact kind of toxic gamer culture that the White House is now supporting. So there's our history, in case you weren't awake since 2016. That's how we got here, okay? So now it's not really surprised that they're using gamer memes in order to catch people in, to ice raids and icing up people. They've even used Pokemon, the gotta catch 'em all slogan from the franchise, in which they did not have permission to do that, and they will be getting sued. The video game industry at large has long remained silent when it comes to reactionary politics and ideologies. Wrong! There are a billion games you can play right now that are about reactionary politics and ideologies. This idea that video games have never been political is not real. They've always been political. There's video games that are about political things, like dictators taking over countries, and you, the sole hero, have to save the country from the dictator by beating up his cronies and blowing them up. You know, this has existed, okay? This has existed. Politics have always been in video games. Let's stop acting like they haven't been there.
So
video games have been very vocally saying what they think about politics, okay? We won't talk about anything else. That's the end of that, because I need to have another story after this. This is shorter. But, surprise. Not so surprising.
Did the article say something about Trump getting banned from Twitter for what?
Yeah, he was banned on Twitter for false news, you know, and being just a menace, I think.
He was banned from Twitter. Writer.
When Musk returned or owned it, when he bought it, he reinstated his account.
I understand all that. I'm just clarifying the record because whoever wrote this just minimizes what actually happened.
I minimized all of it because I didn't want to read 15 paragraphs. It was me. Okay, I was self-editing the article.
Okay, then. So, Trump was banned from Twitter for inciting a riot in which people died. That's how he's banned from Twitter. So, again, minimizing what he actually did. With the writer, you disagreed with him, so it's fine. Anyway, my sarcasm is I want to see all these keyboard warriors reaching for their joysticks when they're getting pepper sprayed and kicked in the nuts because they're not trained. They're just put out there with masks on to go in with a bunch of like a mob to go steal people from where they're living or working for bounties.
I mean, the meme with gamers has always been like they think they can do that stuff that they're doing in the video game. But guess what? You don't get a respawn. You don't get to come back. If you die in real life. So.
All of these states that have stand your ground laws, right? Mm-hmm. How is it allowed somebody with a mask can just come to your door with no badge and anything? You should be allowed to shoot them, right? I think so. I'm just saying, how are they surviving any of these attacks when most people in the United States have guns? At least, have access to a gun. It ain't that hard to get. Anyway, there's next story. Sorry.
Okay, my next story is a little more just wacky, nothing serious. And it's about, well, it's serious if you're an animal lover, I suppose. Because PETA UK has asked Led Zeppelin frontman to change his name. This is on Euronews Culture. Animal rights organization PETA UK is asking iconic Led Zeppelin frontman Robert Plant to temporarily change his name to Robert Plant Wool. The request precedes Plant Wool Month, which lasts through November and raises awareness for plant alternatives to sheep's wool. Okay, I love animals. I'm not a PETA supporter because here's the solution to the wool problem. Okay, there's sheep that have been designed to have wool, which means they overheat and die in the summer. They need their wool to be removed. It does not remove by itself. So either the solution is we let these sheep die from overheating, okay? Or we kill all the sheep that do this and eradicate their genome from the sheep pools. Those are the only solutions. These sheep need to be sheared. Anyways, I have nothing against wool. I don't understand people who have things against wool. But if you want alternatives to sheep wool, I guess PETA will let us know during November. Plant Wool Month celebrates animal-free and plastic-free yarns that promote sustainable fashion while lowering greenhouse gas emissions. I can agree that the wool industry isn't big anymore. Nobody uses wool anymore. Most people are using animal-free, plastic-free yarns because they're cheaper. So, yeah, it's actually worse for the environment because now we're just using plastic. By protecting animals with whom we share this precious planet, PETA UK Vice President and Programmers Elisa Allen said in an online press release. PETA is asking Robert Plant to sing the praises of plant wool with temporary name change that reminds everyone that nothing compares to soft, natural, and ecologically plant-friendly plant wool. Yet again, I don't share this opinion at all. In a letter sent to Plant, PETA UK noted his short-term name change would help highlight an impressive array of cruelty-free, sustainable plant wools and the innovative designers using them. It would also let those stocking their winter wardrobes know that there are dozens of 100% animal and plastic-free fibers to help them cozy without harming hair on a sheep's head. They're not harmed by getting sheared. Are you harmed when your hair gets cut? I don't think so. Well, some people are. The organization even referenced some of Plant's work with Led Zeppelin. While your song Kashmir is rightly celebrated as a masterpiece, Kashmir is a different story. It comes from sensitive goats who scream in pain as their fleece is ripped from their bodies. I have a feeling that's not what happens when you shear a goat. PETA UK wrote in the letter, changing your name for the month would help us showcase the array of plant tools made from cotton, linen, hemp, orange waste, lavender flowers, soy, nettles, and more. Let's not talk about soy, which also destroys the environment. These wools are soft and warm. And best of all, they are simple but effective way to make a difference in animals every time we get dressed in the morning. Plant, who is 77, was the lead singer and lyricist of Led Zeppelin from its founding in 1968 until the band's breakup in 1980. He has yet to comment on the bold yet temporarily rebrand request, or whether he considered Whole Lot of Wool and Good Times Wool Times alternative Led Zeppelin song titles during November. A whole lot of wool, good time wool times. You can visit the website about Plant Month and conscious consumerism if you want, if you care about those things. I mean, I literally just bought some wool socks, so I'm not a believer in wool causing suffering of animals. There's other ways animals are suffering, but I don't think wool is one of them.
Yeah. On a side note, I had a friend who had a big pot plant named Robert. So, yeah. Robert Plant, and Robert Plant asked the comment, said, "You need cooling, Mama. I'm not fooling, because I'm not changing my name." All right, anyway.
That is, of course, a lyric there.
Yeah.
From our Led Zeppelin song.
Got a whole lot of love.
Got a whole lot of wool, I guess.
Got a whole lot of wool.
That's my stories. Man. Let's get into this day in history on our getting closer to the end of October here.
Final spin. I haven't got a video, so I don't know what the heck the deal is.
Well, neither do I. So.
Alrighty. So maybe
you've been writing in a journal, I think, too long.
Not really. I was just trying to come up with challenging stories you had there. So just spin the wheel.
My segue is hypothetical.
But then
I think you muted your mic because I can't hear you. Oh no, there you are. Never mind, I can hear you now.
I had a Malcolm X video, but I realized I was looking at the wrong day. So this day in Rocktober history, maybe you can find this video of any of these clowns we come up with here today in the history of Rocktober. October 29th, we're almost at the end. Let's see, in 1966, question mark and the Mysterians. That wasn't how it was presented on the label. It was actually a question mark. It's a question mark and the Mysterians. Anyway, went to number one U.S. singles chart, with 96 tears. You're gonna cry, 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 cry. 96 tears. 1970, Neil Diamond received the gold record for Cracklin' Rosie. Cracklin' Rosie, get on board. Song about getting drunk on a boat. 1977, the Belgian Travel Service, check this out, issued a summons against the Sex Pistols, claiming the sleeve of the band's signal Holidays in the Sun infringed copyright on one of its brochures. A little touchy, aren't we?
Wow.
Belgian Travel. Yeah, it's like, I think that was just, we hate punk rock, so screw you, we're going to take it.
Oh, we have a deficit in our budget. Let's sue a rock band to get some money back in the government.
Issued a summons, like, you need to stop printing that. Holidays in the Sun probably only sold like 500 copies or something. Who knows? I don't know. Sex Pistols had one hit album, so one album really. 1982, Benatar released their first studio album, Get Nervous. It features Shadows of the Night, Little Too Late, Looking for a Stranger, and Anxiety. Huh? None of my favorites on that one. Shadows in the Night's all right. It's more of a pop album. I liked her previous work a little bit better. 1983, the Dark Side of the Moon album by Pink Floyd won the distinction of remaining on the album chart for the longest period in history when it reached a record total of 490 weeks on Billboard, which is roughly 10 years. The Dark Side of the Moon produced 2 singles, Money and Us and Them, and ended up remaining on the chart for a total of 741 weeks, 1973 and 1988. Estimated sales of 45 million. Of course, the legendary Dark Side of the Moon. Dolly Parton had hit song with Kenny Rogers, A Violin and a Stream on this day. 1984, Frankie Goes to Hollywood and released an album with their hits Relax and Two Tribes. Relax, well, it became a club hit, big club hit. You've probably all heard it. What else we got going on? That's about it for Rocktober. Number sure, this day in history. I still don't have a video idea or anything, man. Okay, let's see. British adventurer and Sir Walter Raleigh on this day in 1618 was executed for treason. That's a shitty way to go out. What? Treason? 1709, the community of Cistercian nuns at Port Royal, an abbey in France, was dispersed and exiled to other convents because of their involvement with Jansenism. Oh shit, not that. 1897, Joseph Goebbels, minister of propaganda for the Third Reich, and Adolf Hitler was born. Yeah,
great. Let's celebrate a Nazi.
We're talking about Steve Bannon. He's pretty much the same kind of person.
I wasn't celebrating him, though. I'm not going to celebrate. He died on. Oh, I'll celebrate when he dies. There you go.
I'm not talking about you at all. I just said you brought him up, and that was basically his role in the. This is his mentor.
This is what he based all his decisions on off of. Yeah.
Right. Everybody's model these days is Stephen Miller or Stephen Miller or whatever.
Making fascism digestible. Delicious. I want more of that.
Yeah, 4'8" tall Stephen Miller is probably your closest version of Goebbels these days, and he looks like him. And everybody calls him Pee Wee German, which is hilarious. 1901, our Antichrist Leon Schlosg, CZOLGOSV, was executed for the assassination of U.S. President William McKinley. He was angry at the world because everybody kept mispronouncing his name, which is actually pronounced Smith. Nobody really realized that, but yeah, he had a hair trigger, we'll say, all because of his name is nothing but consonants. Nobody could pronounce it, so he shot the president. 1923, the Republic of Turkey was established, largely through the efforts of Kemal Atatürk, who was considered the country's founder and served as first president. Before that, it was called Turkestan.
Turkey has always been called Turkey. It was just part of the Ottoman Empire.
Republic of Turkey. Okay. There were still a bunch of turkeys there, so they decided to call it Turkey. 1933, American, I'm making myself laugh, I don't care. American artist George Lux, one of the group of American painters popularly known as the Ashcan School. I went to the Ashcan School because of their realistic treatment of urban scenes, died at the age of 66. Well, that's sad. Nice little urban scene pictures, though. I like those. They're like photographs. I like pastoral scenes as much as anybody, but to me, what was really going on in the street is more interesting because you didn't have photographs necessarily, right? Or for photographs, people that sit still completely, right? You might as well paint them. 1950, King Gustav V of Sweden, a strong proponent of Swedish neutrality, died in Stockholm. That sucks for him. 1956, Israel's army attacked Egypt in the Sinai Peninsula in a fight for control of the Suez Canal. 1995, Terry Southern Academy Award-winning nominated screenwriter for Doctor Strangelove and Easy Rider died at the age of 71. 1998, Hurricane Mitch made landfall hitting northern Honduras, one of the deadliest Atlantic hurricanes on record. It caused some 11,000 deaths. Take that shit seriously, man. Very poor country with not a lot of infrastructure to take care of any of that shit. 2015, it was announced that China was ending its one-child policy. Beginning in 2016, couples could have 2 children. Congratulations. I hope they're not ugly. October 29th in 1929, what happened on this day? The collapse of the United States stock market. Oh, shit. That's right. On this day, 96 years ago, just 5 days after nearly 13 million shares of U.S. stocks were sold in one day, an additional 16 million shares were sold. And it was called Black Tuesday, which this day was not on a Tuesday, obviously, further fueling the crisis known as the Great Depression. And yeah, basically a bunch of people started leaping out of windows because I got nothing to cover this, and they're going to come for my house. This is Ellen Johnson, president of Liberia, is our feature biography. She was born on this day, 1938. She's 87. Appears she's still around. Fanny Bryce's birthday in 1891. Joseph Goebbels, screw him. 1938, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, president of Liberia, which we just talked about her like 3 seconds ago. And Richard Dreyfuss, actor Richard Dreyfuss is an Abdullah Gül. Richard Dreyfuss, born in 47. Abdullah Gül, president of Turkey. We were talking about Turkey earlier. It's his birthday, born in 1950. So there's our National Day calendar. We try not to keep it too much longer. It's National Oatmeal Day. Yum. Like me some oatmeal.
Ooh.
It's National Cat Day. So it's time to go catting around today. And it's National Hermit Day. So after you're done catting around, you want to go hide. So there's your, those are your days. Everything for October 29th, your mispronunciation, your haikus, your bad jokes, your bad puns for October 29th, 2025, and before oatmeal. Yummy, yummy oatmeal.
Delicious oatmeal. Hypothetically, wouldn't it be nice if we just never put politics as like a media thing, like entertainment? If we never made it entertainment.
Right.
How different would the world be if it wasn't like a reality TV show to some people?
It would be.
Did you get the link I sent you?
Oh, you sent me a link. Yeah, I'm trying to
Yes,
open.
I did.
Okay. All right, just I will applaud you, except I'm trying to do other things. Okay, hold on a second.
Well, don't worry. It's also a UN observance today. It is International Day of Care and Support. So, care and support for everyone around you. This is celebrating of all the people, both paid and unpaid, who are crucial for the continuation of the human race, whether it be healthcare workers, the people who are throwing away the trash at the hospital, the people who are cleaning the uniforms. All these people work together, direct, impersonally, to make sure that other people are cared for and have all the support they need. So celebrate that today on October 29th, including global care workforce compromises 249 million women, 132 million men. By 2030, the number of care recipients is projected to reach 2.3 billion. These are people who need support and care. So there's not enough people for all the people. There's not enough workforce for the people who are going to need support. And a lot of these people are going to be 6 to 14 years old too, so children, right? Women perform 76.2% of the total amount of unpaid care work, 3.2 times more than men, because they assume that as a woman, you're here to take care of me. What are you doing? Take care of me. That's why you exist in the world. It's still weekly disarmament week until the 30th of October, so continue putting pressure on getting rid of those nuclear weapons and using that mind for global media and information literacy. Yes, I believe in your ability to use your brain to understand what we're saying to you and what we mean. And maybe even making your own opinions based on what you think, not what somebody else thinks.
Yeah, and again, information is not your enemy. Stop ignoring things that are true, for one thing. It's like, that's debatable. Like, oh, here we go. Earth is flat. There you go. Same dumb debates. Should have been said a long time ago. Vaccinations, so forth. You know, it's like, hey, we're all stupid now. All right, so I'm just going to play this at low level volume on my phone. Okay, so
They'll load faster. That's fine.
Right, I'll just play it next to my mic. Actually, I shouldn't do that because
then if we're ready to go, this has been Allison here from the Netherlands, Roger from the East Coast of the U.S. as we tie off another Wacky and Weird Wednesday. Let us enjoy the wacky and weirdness that's going on in the world. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitch if you would like to see more of our show. Tomorrow is Thursday's 13, and we're going to have a Rocktober themed list, I think, to celebrate the final days of Rocktober. So make sure you turn that notification bell and get notified when we go live or post a video. And I'm still continuing to ask for anybody's opinion on me posting the stories separately. Just let us know in the comments if you're enjoying me posting every single story separately as its own video. And you can support us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. I think that's all of the ads I have for you. Let's get into our dark mic drop moment.
Yes, Pink Floyd's album The Dark Side of the Moon was indeed on the charts for a remarkably long time. Right. Released in 1973, the album achieved widespread critical acclaim and commercial success. It went on to become one of the best-selling and most enduring albums in the history of popular music. The Dark Side of the Moon spent a staggering 957 weeks, equivalent to over 18 years, on the Billboard 200 chart, which is the main album chart in the United States.
Crazy.
It holds the record for the longest time spent on the chart. The album reached its peak position at number 1 in 1973 and remained on the chart until 1988. It then re-entered the charts in subsequent years, further extending its run. The sustained success of Dark Side of the Moon can be attributed to several factors: the album's innovative sound, thought-provoking lyrics, and cohesive concept resonated with listeners across generations. It explored themes such as time, madness, and the human condition, striking a chord with a broad audience. Moreover, the album's popularity was enhanced by its live performances and word-of-mouth recommendations. Pink Floyd's reputation as a phenomenal live act, combined with their immersive stage production, drew more attention to the album and helped sustain its chart presence. The Dark Side of the Moon has sold over 45 million copies worldwide and continues to captivate new generations of music enthusiasts. Its enduring chart success is a testament to the album's timeless appeal and the impact it's had on music landscape.
Punk bands hated them, but they hated all rock and roll. That's
hey, that's Popstar now. I hate you. There you go. There's your music factoid, I guess.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.